You know that task on your list? The one you've been avoiding for days. The one you'll definitely do after lunch. It's still there, isn't it? That looming, energy-draining task that grows uglier every time you look at it. The one that makes you feel guilty every time you choose something easier instead. We all have them. Those tasks that feel like mountains when they're really just molehills. But here's the truth. That task won't get easier with time. It won't get smaller by waiting. In fact, it's growing uglier every single day you avoid it. But what if I told you that your entire day could change by doing just one thing? By attacking that ugly task first thing tomorrow morning? Why do we naturally gravitate toward the easy tasks while avoiding the important ones? Why does our brain prefer clearing emails rather than tackling the project that actually moves us forward? Understanding the psychology behind task avoidance is the first step to overcoming it. Let's explore why our minds trick us into choosing short-term relief over long-term progress. Your brain is wired to seek dopamine hits, those little rewards you get from completing tasks. Checking off easy items from your to-do list gives you a quick hit of accomplishment. Responding to emails feels productive. Organizing your desk creates visible progress. Meanwhile, that important task sits there, offering no immediate reward. Neuroscientists have found that our brains are prediction machines that favor immediate feedback loops. The easy tasks provide instant gratification, while the hard tasks offer delayed rewards. This creates a cognitive bias where we unconsciously prioritize what feels good now over what matters most long-term. Understanding this isn't about making excuses. It's about recognizing the game your brain is playing so you can change the rules. When you avoid that difficult task, you experience immediate relief. The pressure is off for now. You can focus on something easier, something with a clearer path forward. But this relief comes at a cost. Every moment you spend avoiding, you're carrying the cognitive load of that unfinished task. It's like running with a backpack you refuse to take off. Research shows that unfinished tasks create what psychologists call the Zeigarnik effect, a persistent mental preoccupation with incomplete activities. Your brain keeps returning to that ugly task, draining your mental resources even when you're consciously working on something else. The temporary relief of avoidance creates long-term anxiety, reduced focus, and decision fatigue. You're not just procrastinating, you're paying compound interest on a debt you haven't even acknowledged. Here's what happens when you avoid that important task. It grows. Not literally, but in your mind. Each day you postpone, your brain builds it up, bigger, more complicated, more threatening. What might take 2 hours tomorrow becomes an all-day monster next week. This is called impact inflation, the tendency to overestimate the difficulty and duration of avoided tasks. The longer you wait, the more evidence your brain collects that this task is threatening. You remember past struggles, imagine future problems, and create a narrative of difficulty that may not even be accurate. The task itself hasn't changed, but your perception of it has grown monstrous. And the uglier it appears, the more you avoid it, creating a vicious cycle of avoidance and inflation. Beyond the cognitive load, there's an emotional weight to carrying unfinished important tasks. It's the background guilt that colors your leisure time. The nagging feeling that you're falling behind, the self-doubt that creeps in when you choose easier work over meaningful work. This emotional weight is exhausting. It drains your energy more than the actual task would. Studies on procrastination show that people who chronically avoid important tasks report higher stress levels, lower life satisfaction, and even more health problems, not from the work itself, but from the emotional toll of avoidance. You're not just avoiding a task, you're carrying an invisible burden that affects every area of your life. If you're going to attack your ugliest task, timing matters. Research shows that our cognitive resources fluctuate throughout the day. Understanding your personal willpower window is crucial to making this strategy work consistently. Let's explore when you have the mental strength to tackle what matters most. Willpower isn't just a character trait, it's a finite resource that depletes throughout the day. Roy Baumeister's research shows that willpower functions like a muscle. It gets tired with use. Every decision you make, every temptation you resist, every complex problem you solve draws from the same pool of mental energy. This explains why you can resist donuts in the morning but cave at night. Why you can tackle hard work before lunch but not after. Your morning self has a full tank of willpower. Your evening self is running on fumes. The key insight is that the quality of your decisions and the strength of your discipline aren't consistent throughout the day. They depend on how much willpower you have left at that moment. Every day, you face hundreds of decisions: what to wear, what to eat, which route to take, how to respond to that email, what to work on next. Each decision, no matter how small, depletes your willpower. By afternoon, you've made so many decisions that your capacity for self-control is significantly reduced. This is decision fatigue, the deteriorating quality of choices after a long session of decision-making. It's why you might choose junk food at the end of a stressful day or skip your workout after a series of difficult meetings. The decisions you make in the morning, when your willpower is highest, set the trajectory for your entire day. Poor morning decisions create a cascade of willpower-draining choices that follow. Neuroscience reveals that your brain operates differently in the morning than in the afternoon. After sleep, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning, decision-making, and impulse control, is refreshed and highly active. This is your executive brain that can tackle complex problems and resist distractions. As the day progresses, cognitive resources decline, and your brain increasingly relies on habit patterns and emotional responses. This is your automatic brain, efficient for routine tasks but poor for novel challenges. The morning is when you have the cognitive capacity to do hard, creative work. The afternoon is better for routine, familiar tasks that require less executive function. Understanding this difference helps you match your work to your brain's capabilities throughout the day. Given what we know about willpower depletion and cognitive fatigue, it makes sense that evenings are better suited for easier tasks. When your executive brain is tired, tackling complex problems leads to frustration and poor results. But routine tasks, responding to emails, organizing files, planning tomorrow's work, can be completed efficiently even with reduced cognitive resources. This isn't about being lazy in the evening, it's about being strategic. By aligning your evening activities with your reduced mental capacity, you set yourself up for success tomorrow. The evening becomes a preparation phase rather than a struggle phase. You're not avoiding important work, you're being intelligent about when and how you do different types of work. Mark Twain famously said, "If it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning." Brian Tracy turned this into a productivity philosophy. Identify your hardest, most important task, your frog, and eat it first. This chapter is about implementing this approach with military precision. The attack begins the night before. Before you end your workday, take 5 minutes to identify tomorrow's frog. Look at your task list with ruthless honesty. Which task, if completed, would make the biggest difference? Which task are you most likely to avoid? Which task creates the most anxiety when you think about it? That's your frog. Write it down specifically. Not work on project, but complete first draft of report. Not deal with finances, but call accountant about tax questions. The more specific you are, the more likely you are to attack it. Then put this task at the very top of tomorrow's list, not mixed with other tasks, but standing alone as your primary mission for the morning. This clarity eliminates morning decision-making and preserves your willpower for execution, not planning. Your morning routine is your battle plan. It needs to be automatic, requiring no decisions. Here's the sequence. Wake up, hydrate, and immediately begin your frog. Before coffee, before email, before social media, before anything else. This isn't about deprivation, it's about priority. Create a transition ritual that signals to your brain it's time for deep work. This might be as simple as sitting at your desk with specific materials, taking 3 deep breaths, and saying aloud, "Time to eat the frog." During this 90-minute attack window, you are in battle mode. No distractions, no multitasking, no excuses. Your phone is in another room. Notifications are off. You have everything you need within arm's reach. This isn't just about working hard. It's about creating a sacred space where your ugliest task has your complete, undivided attention.
During your frog-eating window, you must protect your attention fiercely. Email is the enemy of deep work. Each message pulls you into someone else's priorities, breaking your concentration. Meetings fracture your focus and reset your thinking. Social media triggers your brain's reward system with cheap dopamine, making real work feel boring. The solution is radical but simple. Create absolute boundaries. No email until your frog is eaten. No meetings scheduled during your attack window. No phone within reach. No browser tabs open except those essential for your task. This might feel extreme, but remember, you're not avoiding these things forever, just postponing them for 90 minutes. You can check email after your frog is eaten. You can schedule meetings for later. But during this critical window, you are unreachable and undistractable. This intensity is what makes the approach work.
90 minutes is the sweet spot for deep work. It's long enough to make meaningful progress, but short enough to maintain intense focus. Research on flow states shows that it typically takes about 15 minutes to enter deep concentration, after which you can maintain it for up to 2 hours before cognitive fatigue sets in. The 90-minute block respects this rhythm. Structure your attack with 3 phases. First 15 minutes for review and planning, next 60 minutes for intense execution, final 15 minutes for completion and transition. During execution, you're not thinking about how to do the work. You're just doing it. No second guessing, no perfectionism, no overthinking. You're in attack mode, moving forward with whatever level of quality you can produce in this focused window. Perfection can come in the editing phase. Right now is about momentum and progress. Here's the magic of eating your frog first, the momentum it creates. When you complete your most dreaded task before most people have even started their workday, something shifts psychologically. You've already won. Everything else feels easier by comparison. The dopamine hit from this significant achievement energizes you for the rest of your day. Research shows that early completion of important tasks triggers what psychologists call completion bias, our tendency to prefer completed over incomplete tasks. This bias works in your favor when you eat your frog first. You're not just checking off a task, you're creating a psychological foundation of productivity that carries through the day. Each subsequent task feels lighter because you've already handled the heaviest one. This is why people who eat their frog first often report higher productivity and greater job satisfaction. Not necessarily because they do more work, but because they've changed their relationship with work itself. Before you finish work today, take out a piece of paper. Write down at the top, tomorrow's frog. Then list the one task you've been avoiding, the one that matters most, the one you're most likely to postpone. Be specific and honest. Put this paper where you'll see it first thing in the morning, on your desk, on your bathroom mirror, taped to your coffee maker. This simple act of identification eliminates morning decision-making and preserves your willpower for execution. Don't just think about it, write it down. The physical act of writing creates commitment and clarity that mental notes lack. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, your mission is clear. Attack the frog before checking anything. No phone, no email, no news, no social media. Go directly to your workspace and begin the identified task. Set a timer for 90 minutes and work with intense focus. If distractions arise, acknowledge them without engaging and return to your task. This is your test of the system. See how it feels to complete your most dreaded task before the rest of the world even knows you're awake. Notice the energy, the relief, the momentum it creates. After you've eaten your frog, pay attention to how the rest of your day feels. Notice your energy levels. Notice your decision-making ease. Notice how other tasks compare to the one you just completed. Most importantly, notice the absence of that nagging feeling you typically carry. This observation builds evidence for your brain that the system works. The positive experience reinforces the habit. Take a moment to acknowledge the win, not just the completed task, but the psychological freedom you've created for the rest of your day.
Doing this once is good. Making it a daily habit is transformative. This chapter focuses on building the frog-eating habit so it becomes automatic. We'll look at stacking it with existing routines, designing your environment, tracking wins, and having a plan for when you slip. The easiest way to build a new habit is to attach it to something you already do consistently. This is called habit stacking. If you already make coffee every morning, stack frog eating right before it. If you already exercise first thing, stack it immediately after. The key is identifying your current morning anchor, the thing that happens automatically without fail, and linking your new behavior to it. The sequence becomes existing habit, new habit, reward. For example, after I turn on my coffee maker, I will immediately identify and begin working on my most important task for 90 minutes. The existing habit pulls the new behavior along, reducing the willpower required to get started. Over time, the sequence becomes automatic, like brushing your teeth. Your environment shapes your behavior more than willpower. To eat your frog consistently, design your morning environment for success. This means removing friction from the desired behavior and adding friction to competing behaviors. Put your work materials where they're easily accessible. Remove your phone from the bedroom. Use a real alarm clock instead of your phone. Create a dedicated workspace that signals deep work mode. Pre-prepare everything the night before. Clear your desk, open necessary files, close unnecessary tabs. Make the path to your frog as smooth as possible. At the same time, make distractions harder to access. Put your phone in another room, use website blockers during your attack window, create physical barriers to interruption. The goal is to make eating your frog the path of least resistance while making avoidance the path of most resistance. What gets measured gets managed. What gets tracked gets improved. Create a simple tracking system for your frog-eating habit. This could be a calendar where you mark days you ate your frog first, a habit tracker app, or even a notebook where you give yourself a check mark. The key is consistency over perfection. Track not just whether you completed the task, but whether you followed the process. Did you attack it first thing before distractions? Did you protect your 90-minute window? Review your tracking weekly to identify patterns and obstacles. Celebrate streaks, 3 days in a row, a week, a month. This tracking creates accountability and provides data on what helps or hinders your consistency. Over time, you'll see your success rate improve as the habit strengthens and your environment adapts. You will slip. There will be mornings when you check email first, days when you choose an easier task, weeks when the system breaks down. The difference between success and failure isn't avoiding slips, it's what happens after. When you slip, don't spiral into shame or give up entirely. Instead, apply the never miss twice rule. If you miss one morning, never miss the next one. Get right back on track the following day. Analyze what caused the slip without judgment. Was it poor planning the night before? Was it an unexpected emergency? Was your environment not set up properly? Use the slip as data to strengthen your system, not as evidence that you're a failure. Remember that habit formation isn't linear. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. The key is maintaining forward momentum over time, not perfect daily execution. Attacking your ugliest task first isn't just a productivity hack. It's a fundamental shift in how you relate to your work and your willpower. When you consistently tackle what matters most when your resources are highest, everything changes. You replace the anxiety of avoidance with the confidence of completion. You trade the guilt of unfinished important work for the freedom of knowing your priorities are handled. You transform your relationship with difficult tasks from something to be feared to something to be conquered. This approach works because it aligns with your biology rather than fighting against it. It uses your peak cognitive resources for your most challenging work.
It creates momentum that carries through easier tasks. Most importantly, it gives you the feeling of winning your day before it really begins. That's a power that ripples through every area of your life. Here's your mission tonight. Write down the one task you've been avoiding. Tomorrow morning, before coffee, before email, before everything, attack it. Set your timer for 90 minutes. Protect that time like it's the most important appointment of your day. Feel what it's like to win before noon. Notice how the rest of your day transforms when you're not carrying that ugly task with you anymore. This isn't just about completing one task, it's about changing your relationship with work itself. Start tomorrow. Eat that frog. Win your day before it begins.